In case you missed it or you live under a rock somewhere, there is only one day left in the year 2021. Thanks for watching the Calvary briefing. It is already December 30th. An article by John Bloom impacted me and got me thinking about many things coming up in 2022. And the article was about words and a new year. Jesus, in Matthew chapter 12, had just healed a demon-possessed man. This man had been blinded and unable to speak because of demon possession. After ridding him of this and healing him, the Pharisees accused Jesus himself of being demon-possessed in order to cure this man of demon possession. Jesus did not spare his words as he spoke to them. "You brood of vipers, how can you speak good when you are evil? For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. The good person out of his good treasure brings forth good, and the evil person out of his evil treasure brings forth evil. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." The words that we speak and the words that we sometimes type or text, whether we think so or not, are reliable revealers of what our hearts truly value. And someday we will stand before the judgment seat of Christ to receive our due for whatever we've done in the body, whether that's good or evil. And our words will condemn us. And unfortunately, our careless words will come back at that point, and they'll be brought forth as witnesses against us. We live in a culture where words matter. We know that if you're a Supreme Court nominee or if you're a political candidate, words that you spoke or wrote or were recorded 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago can come back and haunt your life in the present day. Words matter. And unfortunately, in our time in history, words are plenty. Texting, emails, websites, blogs, all of the different television programs and podcasts. Words are out there, millions and millions and millions of words. And unfortunately, there are many, many words that are coming from us. And sometimes those words, spoken carelessly, damage people, damage our witness for Christ, damage other people's feelings. I'm reminded so many times of the 3rd chapter of the book of James. James was most likely the half-brother of Jesus, and the short little book of James is only 5 chapters, but is almost like the Proverbs of the New Testament. It's so full of wisdom. And in the 3rd chapter, James says, "Not many of you should become teachers, my brothers, for you know that we who teach will be judged with greater strictness." Why is that? Well, because a teacher stands in front of people and uses many, many words to teach them and to lead them in a direction. James goes on, "We all stumble in many ways. If anyone doesn't stumble in what he says, he's a perfect man, able also to bridle his tongue." And that's an image that James gives us, that our tongues need to be under control, like a bridle controls the mouth of a horse. If we put bits in the mouths of horses so that they obey us, we guide their whole bodies as well. James gives another illustration. Look at the ships. Though they are so large and driven by strong winds, they're guided by a very small rudders wherever the will of the pilot directs. And obviously, we've been on boats, and we know that these huge, monstrous boats, when you compare the small rudder to them, that small rudder controls this huge boat. So also, James says, the tongue is a small member, yet it boasts of great things. How great a forest is set ablaze by such a small fire. And the tongue is a fire, a world of unrighteousness. The tongue is set among our members, staining the whole body, setting on fire the entire course of life, and is set on fire by hell. For every kind of beast and bird, reptile and sea creature can be tamed and has been tamed by mankind. But no human being can tame the tongue. It's a restless evil full of deadly poison. With it we bless our Lord and Father, and with it we curse people who are made in the likeness of God. From the same mouth come blessing and cursing. My brothers, these things ought not be so. Does a spring pour forth from the same opening both fresh and salt water? Can a fig tree, my brothers, bear olives, or a grapevine produce figs? Neither can a salt pond yield fresh water. James points out clearly the damage of the tongue. And the damage of the tongue comes in the form of words. And today, we can damage with words, not just with our tongue, but with our thumbs and with our fingers. As we look at this new year with new possibilities, think about words. Think about careless words. And even now, just a couple of days before this new year, pray this prayer from Psalm 19. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my rock and my redeemer.